Hi everybody, in today's video I'm going to tell you how you're screwing up. There's a lot of things that we can make mistakes in music. As an upright bass player, today we're going to focus on whether the problem is in our right hand, in our left hand, or how we're counting. So stick around and learn these practice tips. The three main things where we make mistakes on the upright bass are our right hand, which could be the tone quality. That's the main mistake that we tend to struggle with, and it's something that we often have to practice. Intonation, which is determined by the left hand, and then rhythm or counting or tempo consistency, which I think of as determined by the brain. If you don't have a good way to count, then it doesn't matter how technically sufficient your hands are. If you can't put the notes in the right spot, it doesn't really matter how good they sound. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm trying to play the note C on the G string in third position. The tuner says that I'm playing well in tune. And the tone quality is fine, right? So if my tone quality on that note is bad, but my left hand stays in the same spot, that would mean that the intonation is good, but the tone quality is bad. So here's an example of what that would sound like. Right, so you notice that the tuner is still saying I'm in tune. That makes sense because my left hand is in the same spot. But the tone quality of that note changed, right? So maybe when you heard that, you kind of, recoiled a little bit because the sound quality is not very good, right? So that would be a right hand problem. So when we play, and when I have students play, and they make mistakes like that, they often think that their left hand is the problem, even though it's actually not, right? So it's important to make these distinctions because you might think to practice that shift when really your left hand didn't make any mistakes at all. Another example is, let's say I'm trying to play C, that same note, but my left hand is in the wrong spot. You can see that now this note is so sharp that my tuner is saying that it's a flat D flat, right? So it's not actually flat because it's reading the note D flat or a really sharp C now, right? So you can see that it's way too high on the tuner. But the tone quality of that note, in terms of my bow, the sound quality is actually kind of nice, right? So the sound quality and the intonation are two separate things. I think this is a very common mistake that people don't understand. When we practice, when we work on our intonation, we want to use a drone, right? So that we can listen to the correct sound source, and we want to adjust our left hand to that sound source, whether that's a drone or someone in an orchestra or a guitar player or a backing track. That's what musicians do. We use our ears to make sure that our left hand is playing in tune. So if you want to learn more about playing with the drone, you can check out another video that I made recently on how to play with the drone. If we have a problem with our bow and the tone quality is not good, well, you can take the left hand entirely out of it to start, just to make sure that you get a good sound with the right hand, right? So this could be open strings, just holding long tones. And as I'm holding that note, I'm thinking about all of these little micro adjustments to make sure that that tone quality stays the same and I don't hear any kind of wavering like this. If my tone quality is not so good, it might sound like this. To show you an example, if I have the analysis tool on the computer here, then you can see when I'm holding a good note, right? You can see the waveforms are showing up as I speak. When I hold a good note, it should look as close to rectangular as possible, like this. Right? It kind of looks like a giant sausage. And if we have a bad sound quality, it looks like this, where it's all wavy and there's bumps in the middle of the sound waves, right? So you can use this app to look at that, but you can hear these differences yourself without using a fancy tuner like this, right? So when you're practicing your long tones and you want to get a better tone in your right hand, that's what we're aiming for, is a consistent sound, consistent volume. That's what makes that sound wave look so horizontal and clear. So we can do this, our right hand exercise. Just play the long tones on each string. And if your sound wave looks like that, then you know that that's kind of what you're going for. So the third kind of mistake is rhythmic, right? Let's say I'm trying to play consistent eighth notes with a metronome. So when I'm trying to play consistent eighth notes with a metronome, this is purely a rhythmic thing that we're working on. I might play the note out of tune, I might play it with bad tone, but right now I'm focusing on keeping it in time, right? Which is a rhythmic thing, an awareness of our ears related to the metronome, right? So even if I have a great sound and I don't play in time, that's not my left hand's fault, that's not my bow's fault, that's my rhythm's fault, right? So I'm listening to make sure I know where the beat is. All right, so an example of clear eighth notes at the right speed would be here. You can hear how they're staying with the metronome the entire time, right? So if you want to focus on only the rhythmic quality of your playing, don't even use your bass. Don't even use the instrument. If you can't count in time with the metronome, then what makes you think that you could do the challenging physical task of making sure we have good tone quality, the right note in the left hand, and keep in mind we're not even adding shifting or any kind of string crossings yet. Okay, so to work on just the rhythm, I would work on just counting with the metronome, staying together with the metronome, right? And working on counting just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can do your eighth notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and once that starts to feel easier, then you can alternate between your counting and playing. Okay, so I would count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, you get the idea, and we would repeat that exercise. And then you could maybe give yourself less time to do that alternation. Maybe I just do 1 and 2 and then I play on 3 and 4 and, right? So if I had here 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and, right? Give yourself less time. Right, so these kind of exercises are training our rhythmic ability and understanding that they're separate from our tone quality and separate from our left hand shifting ability. All right, so those are my 3 basic tips on kind of the core parts of music, right? We want good sound, we want good pitch, and we want good time, right? All of these things are really present on every instrument, but even if you're a pianist, you still have to play in time, you still have to have good technique, you have to know how to press the keys, you need to know how you sit, those different things. And that's a lot of information to be thinking about at the same time. So when you divide those things out when you practice, it's a lot easier to improve at one thing. It's a lot harder to play in tune with great vibrato at a fast speed and stay in rhythm with a great tone compared to just playing a great note. If you can play one great note, you can probably play 2 great notes. If you can play 2 great notes, you can probably play 3, and I hope you're starting to get the point. We just build from there. All right, so if this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe. I thank you for your support, and I hope to see you in the next one.